Hello, mademoiselle. I'm just trying to see if we're live somewhere in the world. Are kind of live now.
Yay.
Woo!
Woo,
That
hallelujah.
that was kind of easy and fun. With the interwebs, and I'm not that good with computers. You know how I
Me
am.
neither. I can barely type.
I don't know why we had some problems just being live. Sorry. Um, let's try to fix other problems. We have a problems here from 4 years ago, but I feel like I wanted to work on this. I don't know why. I don't know why.
Interesting.
Yeah, who's who's the guy or girl? I don't remember what it is, but let's try to fix it together. Yeah, because
Okay.
kind of interesting. I think we are offering filters, and we want to keep them there, but not really. So, what do you think is the problem here? So, I'm currently working on a pretty complex and confused, I admit, term table. And you love table in terms of filtering. Okay, great. Table filtering. We're at home.
Yeah.
Good. One of the options for filtering allows the user to filter on an item that is displayed as a column. Okay, great. Classic. And I'm trying to figure out the least confusing, jarring way to update the table for it. So they have an animated GIF, but what I feel, what do you think about it? What do you think? What's the problem? You think?
I
And
think I got to take a sec to just look at the materials to figure that out. I put a zone at the top of the
oh, you have a
thing
zone.
to do our problem statement.
It's
We
true.
want.
It's true. That's good. Good.
Um, okay. So showing the functionality. Should we go to that and
Yep.
look at it kind of animated?
Let's do it out where it is. Do we have a link somewhere? It's was going great today. So you know,
Exactly.
let me see
Hence
if I
the
can.
technical drama that's always got to happen
Yeah.
here and there.
Let me type it here. I'll share that instead. Share this that instead. Okay. So that's what we are, and that's what we have. Yeah. So they are clicking on the filter. Yeah. Let's zoom in.
Okay. Oh, okay. Now they're activated. Oh, okay.
Now they activate filters.
Okay. So there's kind of a control above, and then we're seeing some kind of effect happening on the table. Um, okay. So then they're describing that it's kind of convoluted and stuff. I added blocks to hide some data. So pay no mind to the floating gray boxes. Not exactly sure what that means, but cool.
Well,
Um,
the gray thing, the gray box is what we are seeing here, right? No.
oh, I see. Okay, they're just anonymizing a couple of bits that show information,
Oh,
I
got it.
guess.
Okay.
I think that's what they're saying. Okay, so then currently only the selected items for that filter are shown in the table. Only the selected items for that filter are shown in the table, and the rest are removed. This has the benefits that the user doesn't have to think or see or think about information they don't care about, but then they have to readjust so what is effectively a new table. True. The other option is to gray out the unselected columns so the information is still there, but taking out a focus. What method from the above or some other, if you have ideas, do you think would confuse the user the least?
The least. I love it. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so let's get into our problem statement
Yep, exactly.
kind of thing.
So what do you think is the problem?
Do you want to switch your tabs over, Benoit, so we can look at the
There it is.
whimsical?
Thank you.
Nice. Okay. So I just put a little template in here that we were maybe going to start with
The classic.
to frame things, but we can do it whatever. We can do it
Exactly.
in
What I
wherever you
love
want.
about user stories is, well, it's all about the user with the outcome. would be fun to add maybe the capabilities, so I can do that, and then my capabilities is I'm able to filter things down that way, for example. So maybe the capabilities at the end. But yeah, as a user, what kind of user? I feel like it's not a normal. Well, it's an enterprise kind of software. I don't see that for.
Yeah.
So as a user of a business user or a user of enterprise UX software,
Yeah.
I want
Let's say
to.
complex tool maybe or something.
Yeah, complex tool. It is kind of complex tool because there's a lot of filters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say that they want to filter?
Not sure. Not sure. Filter is not the main goal in general. I don't want to filter. In my life, filtering is not something I'm waking up and saying, I will filter things today.
Oh, damn. I'm stoked to start the day because I'm going to get to use filter controls. Oof, that's going to be amazing.
So what kind of content it is? It's total, 1 month, 3
Yeah.
months daily. It's
There's building. There's this. Maybe this is. It's hard to infer something about managing buildings or workers within a specific building. Like maybe it's something about manufacturing or something because it says total FTE, full-time employees. One time.
And there's tasks also. But there's tasks.
There's tasks. Yeah. Average. I can't. Let me zoom into that because I cannot read.
Feel like it's managing the workforce that is, cleaning, maintaining. You have to empty the trash, you have to clean the windows, you have to arrange the chair. So you have a list of tasks.
Okay. So you have a list of. So this might be something. This might be related a bit to quality assurance or quality management, which I was reading about this week as we were putting together the What is Enterprise UX article. Wink, wink. That's live now. Get in there. So it looks like, so these are standards that are being applied to different buildings. So they have a certain amount of stuff that happens at each of these buildings, like arranging the chairs, and it'll happen once a day, once a month. They just have different pace to them according to probably the usage or the usage of the buildings themselves, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody's actually looking at this data, that would mean that they were a user. Maybe they were doing some quality control or updating the standards or something like that. They're actually trying to zero in on a specific building to understand what's done.
Great. Zero in. That's, I think it's zeroing on a specific, data point or, cluster of data, like what's happening right now in the building tree, for example, or what should we do the next month. So can we say review? Can we, what's
Yeah, we could say, complex tool is a little bit vague, but
well, we can say report tool. That's for one.
Yeah, so say we're reporting on it, or they're doing some troubleshooting or something like that. I want to understand what's happening in a particular building.
I think it's a good assumption.
And I would say building might be plural, so you might want to compare and contrast, but you'd want to understand, you'd want to kind of live snapshot of what's going on, right?
And also the outcome is what's amazing. That's too bad we don't, we couldn't invite, the others, but feel like they need to confirm something or to make a decision.
Yeah, sure. So you can just say confirm or troubleshoot an issue or or confirm something. So I would imagine, sorry, I said that already. Yeah.
It's good.
Or make a decision. That's what you said. Yeah, so, or make a decision. Yeah.
What I will add here is that they have to go through a big set of data. So they need to go to a specific, data point. That's where there's filters. So all need to be able to, how can we say, narrowing down,
Just say, yeah, narrow down the information I'm looking at.
available to me. Okay. So good. Complex tool. I want to understand what's happening right now in the building. Want to confirm, troubleshoot, or make a decision. So it's like selecting, having, downloading some information in your head and selecting the right data point, so they can make a decision.
Yeah.
It's not an interface where you will have to do something, feel like it. You have the frequency of where it's happening, but you don't have task inputting any task. You're not doing something. It's not a workflow. It's what I sense. What do you think? Is it?
No, I don't have the sense it's a workflow either. No.
So just looking at things, but there's so much out there. Just give me what I need. Great. So of course filters make sense. Let's work on it now. Yeah.
So yes, let's work on it now. Let's figure out. My question is, I have questions, but all right now. Okay. Are we ready to work on it?
Well, what was your question? I'm intrigued now.
It was more in getting into the data a little bit, into the details of the data. So,
Go on.
I mean, there must be a reason why this person is taking columns out. Or there must be a reason why they think that taking columns out and presenting those in the results is useful. So I was just kind of curious about kind of how that could be true.
I see what you mean.
Because I was just trying to think a little bit. So we're looking at the columns that are chosen by default, and then there's a different behavior that happens when the filters are applied. That's a bit of an odd behavior that's kind of unusual. And this person is like, I want to make it less weird. So they're trying to make so this is a solution that feels really weird that they've started with, but there must be a reason how they got there in the first place, right? So I was, they're saying that they're really presenting like a new table when the filter gets applied, and it's effectively true. If columns are changing and stuff all the time, that's sort of in a dynamic way that may not be super predictable. That's usually a red flag, because it's difficult usually for users to orient themselves, according to what they're seeing every single shift that they make. It's a lot of variables that are changing at once. So it's cognitively, it's like it's quite a lift.
What's the starting point, you think? Showing everything and letting the user decide what they don't want to see, or let them add, type of data? From this point of view, not best
Well,
practices.
I'm sort of curious about, and I don't know where this is going, but this just the way the data has been structured in the table, if a table is the right thing to use.
Got it.
And what is this interaction actually trying to fix? Because there's sort of a couple different things happening here, and that's kind of what it prompts in my brain.
I see what you mean, because you're not comparing information for our assumption. The problem is to go into something specific. You're not just comparing building 1 to 2 or what's happening,
Yeah.
daily versus weekly. You're not comparing. So if you want just what's happening right now in building 2 and 3, and what type of task you have to do daily, do you really need it in that table? That's your assumption. Yeah, it's a great question, in fact. Yeah.
Because I'm curious about there's also each of these table rows expands. You can see that on the left. So I imagine what's in there are the tasks, and then, but I'm really imagining this. So I'm thinking that probably the tasks are what's in there, and then the time scale, monthly, daily, blah blah blah, is shown there too. So thinking about this a little bit more, they actually might be sort of doing some resource allocation of staff or something, because we do have a total FTE, which is usually full-time employees. So I'm curious if the data is organized in such a way that we're doing this weird Jimmy rigging thing to try to compensate for it.
Sure. Absolutely. Our assumption is not part of the workflow. Do you want to rethink that, re-question that?
Well, no, I don't think they're taking action on these rows. Like I don't think that's a thing. But I also don't think it's following the typical sort of table framework, which is, you usually put columns together so that you can do easy comparison of things, and you can kind of scan across and compare like with like sort of thing. With this many variables, like, can you do that?
Exactly. Do you want to compare buildings, or you want to compare tasks or areas or frequencies? But buildings building is what they did at first. So let's take that to assumption, because we'll love to ask them a question. Why you're using buildings as your starting point? Yes.
Yeah. And they're probably really trying to do some analysis of, the amount of full-time people you have to the amount of tasks and the amount of time that those tasks take. So, seeing a decimal value in there could make that really hard. This is exactly when data visualization steps into the room. Assuming they are, doing a bit of this kind of assessment, and you need to kind of understand where each building is at. Unless there's something that allows you in there to really compare like with like, a ratio, or like some kind of like for example, people to work ratio. It should be like 1.0, but it's a 1.3 or whatever. Like some kind of like other analysis or interpretation piece could potentially be really useful with something like this, or a visual. I don't know.
Well, what you're saying, for what I'm hearing, is what's the point in showing everything? Show me everything at once, and then let them slowly decide what they don't want to take out. What's the point on that? And that's sometimes the extent of a developer. I have this database. I'm just want to show you this database, and now what I can do is give you better filters, so you can get into the right data point, and why you want to do this. I think you're questioning it right. Is the table the right thing? Do I want just to create great defaults and let me create whatever I want? It's maybe a table, it's maybe a pie chart, it's maybe just a number, whatever it is. Let me as a user, I'll create what I need from all of this. But the developers have to create an interface, and it's kind of hard to just put a blank page with a couple of features and let the user figure out. So they need to start somewhere, and to show them the way on how they can build it up filter things so they can get to what they want.
And I definitely have seen cases where filtering is used as a kind of crutch to not actually do the thing.
It's a great way to say it. Yeah. Yeah. Here at database, the only thing I can, add value on is better filters. Okay. There must be a better way to
There must be a better way.
to display information, because everything is in database. We do have web interface for different things. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like I wonder, this person said like, okay, we're getting a new table with each of these different sets of filters, and it makes me wonder if should actually these tables be different views,
Or different tables, or more than one.
or more than one showing, or maybe like building 1, 2, and 3, and 4, they're actually handled in like separate tabs so that their data can be organized in a different way. And they don't have to, when you're expanding like this in tables, you sometimes have to build in a bunch of redundancy in it. So you can end up with something weird. It's like efficient because it doesn't have like so many screens, but not efficient.
Okay. So we can go through, we can go to the direction of giving them data viz type of tools, and they can create whatever they want. And that would be great. And maybe we'll discover that they don't need a table, they need something else. That means a lot of user research, sitting down with them, going to prototypes, looking at exactly the user goal. But we don't have this luxury right now. We have to play with what we have. And let's say we have to work with tables. And let's take this assumption that we may not have to display just one table, maybe a couple of tables. So filters are not exactly filters. They are more
Like
queries.
Yeah, or criteria.
Whatever it is behind one table. And so if we switch them to settings and add multiple tables, maybe that's what the developer is saying. I will have different tables. I will display different tables. Well, why not? Why not displaying 7, 8 tables and let the user decide?
Or just allow them to just like save that configuration, add another one to the screen or something like that, or just save that configuration and call it something, or make it a favorite or something like that. That's nice and flexible, so you don't necessarily have to know every single use case.
Absolutely.
Off the bat. But you can allow people to do things with this so that they can build them for you.
Okay, well, show me how we can design this, how we can design a table and save the settings. Is it in tables, different tables? Let's prototype something, we'll see.
Yeah, let's try it.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay. All right, I'll start the wireframe.
Okay.
Bam.
Good. That's wireframe. We have to build a table at least. Let's start with a table. Good.
Yeah.
I need some
Solution
music.
idea.
Is it okay if I put some music?
Oh yeah, do it. Sounds good.
Okay. So you're building a page. Great.
Yeah. Let's do these puppies. So 1.
Also, so you're going to with this this idea of each building have their own. Well, are you predefining the buildings, or you let the user define the tabs?
Oh, that's a good. Yeah, I was just kind of wondering that as I was starting to write them, because it could actually be these if these tabs grew. So let's just say like default, whatever. Building 2, building 3, buildings with not enough staff. I don't know, whatever. So you could potentially have a situation where your filters. I'll just do a little filter bar here. Oh, you're doing one. Oh, is that a table?
Well, you're adding a filter. That's interesting. What about filters are... Think about the experience as the final experience. The filter is, it's done. It's already done. I already filtered that. I already saved it somewhere. So let's say that this is our table. We have default, we have a table. So maybe what we can do is maybe just a way to change settings, maybe, or change filters, or change
sure.
some, whatever it is, change criteria, something like that. So that means that we have a default, we have a table, we have a list of things, and so we have a different criteria, but we also giving the capability to change the viewing, right?
Well, that's kind of what I was getting at. Like I started to draw the filter because I wanted to make sure that we show viewing options.
Good. How would you do that?
So if assuming that this is still up to, well, we could do it in a drawer or something if you want.
Oh.
Change criteria. We'll just slap it in a drawer for now.
Well, I think it's good because you're setting something that you will reuse over and over, maybe a daily thing or even more than once a day. And so you don't want to change the filters. You're creating different usage, different moments, different spaces where you can see everything and now there's something very specific or whatever. So hiding it is not a bad thing.
Okay, so I'm going to do viewing options and then I'll do filters.
Why not?
And another thing we could do as well is we could use the top zone or somewhere static in here to reiterate those settings that are actually selected potentially. So regardless of if you're in, it doesn't have to be something like this. It could be something else, but regardless of which tab you're in, you could have some kind of summary zone that specifies what you've chosen. Something like that. And then I suppose we would want to allow somebody to nice. So viewing options might be a little bit different than filters. They would have, I'll just jot down a couple things that viewing options might include. Or if you want to,
Yeah, I will.
Okay, cool. I'll put just some ideas or some enterprise software patterns that we've seen before. So we could have density. That's one that you see in tables pretty often. So like low, I don't know, whatever. Oh, actually, table. Oh, Murad.
Is this where you would like to hide or show some columns also?
Yep, I was just doing that. Just starting that.
We're in sync.
Yeah. Yeah, with columns though, it might even warrant its own tab potentially. Really depends on how many you have, because you might want to do reordering as well as selection, and to handle that in one really small view like this can be a little hard.
Yeah. Wherever it can be in a sidebar. Can be a sidebar, but sidebar is, a facet filter is part of a navigation. Now we're saving a state. We're saving something so we don't have to look it over. But it's not bad to actually, give, do some settings and also give 2, 3 ways to navigate the actual tables. Maybe that's scope creep right now. Let's just save something. Yeah. So table density, column shown, whatever else we have, and yeah.
Hey, bruh.
What else do we have here in the tables? We have frequency, task, different tasks. We can select tasks. We can select all the tasks. We can pretty much get areas. Oh, okay. It's pretty classic now. Just we switch the problem is.
Yeah. And I'd also maybe suggest the option to explore like table versus card views as well in here.
Why not? Let's
Why not?
5-10 minutes to just make it happen.
Layout. Table view. Because a lot of this, typically with this kind of information, you can have a more immediate impact sometimes using cards compared to this table scanning experience. It's super specific to like the information seeking that the person's doing in that moment. But cards can be super nice for putting a little bit of like visual embellishment or things like that in there, and you can just eyeball it. I mean, that's true for tables too, but
It's true. I was going to
play
with the
what?
studio, but that's good enough. We can have a switcher if we want to switch from table to cards, things like that. That's good. So I think we're good. I think we don't have to go that far.
No.
We kind of solved it. What was the problem? Can you summarize what the problem?
Can I cheat again, or do I have to memorize?
No, please.
Oh, okay, good. Awesome. Okay. So our problem came from a developer who's working on a complex tool that's likely in the world of kind of quality or managing staff, things like that. And so our problem statement that we put together from the user perspective is, as a user of a complex tool, I want to understand what's happening in a particular building so that I can confirm or troubleshoot an issue or make a decision. I'll need to narrow down the information available to me. That was the problem we're dealing with. Who submitted the problem really wanted to make it less weird. That was their goal, exactly. Which is a common goal that we've heard before. Yeah.
So we came up with this solution. So that's what the question we have on UX Exchange: classic tables, classic list, and we end up with what exactly, Ceara?
Well, we when we were thinking about the problem and exactly how to make it less weird, we thought about the difficulty that happens when you kind of change columns and have this dynamic variables happening at the same time. It can be a bit confusing, but it can also be really difficult to find out the precise use cases for each table. So it felt like to us that they were trying to do a little bit too much with one table and filters in one thing. So our idea on how to kind of solve this, or something to try potentially in the interface, is to create a situation where users can create their own views. Views are created with filters as well as specific viewing options for the table.
So instead of building something for everyone, you let the user build their UI for their own use case. Yeah.
Exactly. Like it may be really difficult to find out exactly what they're going for and what all of the use cases are. So this is something that happens a lot in enterprise software, where we actually need to create flexible enterprise features or functionality. We actually have a article that talks about a bunch of the flexible features that you can use in enterprise. But creating custom views is completely valid and really useful.
And we can learn a lot from how people are, what people are doing. We can create great defaults if we're using, we're smart enough. We have analytics. We are researching on how people are doing things and what's the first thing they're building, and creating them some shortcuts. Giving them some shortcuts on defaults, and showing them also the realm of possibilities. That's all something very useful in that. You can do that, but you can also do this and this and this. What about this? So they are not stuck in the only way that they saw the first time. So a custom thing is a great way to teach user of the capabilities of a platform.
Yeah, and to save time, like there's a lot of kind of wasted work that people are doing in tables where they just have to redo that combination of filters over and over every time they come to the.
Come on, just just for that.
Don't make them do that, please.
At minimum, if you're filtering, can I save my filter somewhere? That's good. That's great. We just went a bit further.
Mm-hmm. So with limited information.
Exactly. So build your own table. Click somewhere where you can, inside nav or just draw or whatever, save your filters, save your viewing option somehow. And if you want to add, other tabs and other tables, you're capable to do that. Maybe most will not do it, but now you kind of fix the problem. If someone had a specific something that you want to see every day when they are reading an email and drinking their coffee, they have it now. So you don't have to build for everyone. That's good.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
That's great. Thank you, Ceara. So if you have any other problems like that, contact us. I'm sure you'll find a way. We're pretty much everywhere. Send it to us. We'll gladly have fun and geek around your problem.
We really will.
Thank you, Ceara. I'm sorry for the technical problems we had, but kind of fun.